Hello and happy St. Patty's Day. I am here, Aunt Lainey's kitchen. Here's my fit right here. You know I had to go do all green. Of course, you know I've got the suede and the shearling house boots. I'm like, you know what? I need some house boots. These have never been worn. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep them in my house because they have that suede on them. So even when it's not wet outside, you know, sometimes suede can get kind of like, you know, kind of matted looking. But if I keep them in the house, then I can just like stay fabulous as I cook on this tile floor. Okay, here we go. Now tonight I'm gonna do a ground turkey and veggie, move this out of the way, a ground turkey and veggie bowl. You know how when you go to some of those places like Chipotle or Qdoba, places like that, and you know, you pay a lot of money because, you know, people are scooping in, you know, in the bowls for you, all that stuff. You got to pay the employees, all of that stuff. So what I was like, you know what, I can do this at home. Now, maybe I don't have their secret recipes and all the things that they do, but I can kind of, you know, do something like some kind of bowl-ish thing, save a little bit of money because, you know, these groceries are no joke right now. I'll tell you, last year, I would have done this with ground beef, I'm not going to lie. But then, you know, the prices, and I thought, you know what, let's do this with ground turkey. So I've been really, as you know, I've been really cooking a lot with ground turkey. So I'm going to first start off with, I'm going to do this in a cast iron skillet. So everything is already cooked except for the veggies. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do like a little bit, it's like a half teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. And this doesn't have a very high smoke point. So I'm not trying to like, you know, I'm not trying to put like this eternal crisp on this. I just want to kind of give it a little bit of a sizzle thing. And there's lots of ways that we can do this. I think I'm going to start with putting this on the veggies. Hang on, I'm going to move this out of the way. So what I'm going to be cooking with is I have some leftover. I know you're going to hear this. Everyone can hear this plastic. It's like that one cake that you have that you get and you try to open it up in the middle of the night and it's like, I can hear this picture. That one, that's like my favorite meme. Okay, so I have got tomatoes that I've cut into fourths. I have got some red peppers that I've got some mushrooms as well, some white mushrooms, and then I've got like some fresh onions. So all I want to do here, and again, everybody is different, but I like to have like a little bit of a crisp on everything on these veggies before I mix everything together. So that's kind of like what I want to do. Now I feel like this is for prep. This is like a preference because this is going to be like a single bowl, or, you know, if I were to feed 2 people with this, I would definitely double down on this. So for the tomatoes, I used grape tomatoes, and on those grape tomatoes, I used 3 of them. So because I'm a big believer in like, get like the, you know, get a few tomatoes, cut it like that instead of cutting everything down. Now later on, probably tomorrow, I will cut, you know, the rest of them and put them in my, like my prep containers. But for tonight, it's like I had a lot going on as usual. And so after this, I still have to do a couple of things. So I'm not done, but this is just like the midpoint of my evening. So I was like, you know what, let's not do the full on prep. Let's just, you know, do a little bit of the prep. And I want to see, I think this is hot enough. So this is a cast iron skillet. So I'm going to start with the tomatoes. Ooh, you can hear that, right? Ooh, let's see, what do I have this on? Let me turn this down a little bit. I forgot that these little burners, they heat up quick. Just kind of want to do that. Now I have already seasoned them. So I seasoned this with a little bit of lemon juice. Next I'm putting in the peppers and the mushrooms. I seasoned this with a little bit of lemon juice and some cilantro. Cilantro, lime. Now, I always say, as my disclaimer, not everybody likes cilantro. I know, you guys, I know. So what I would use in lieu of the cilantro, I probably would use maybe some parsley. You could probably do like parsley or a little bit of basil. You wanted to kind of like bring it that way. Okay. Woo. Hot. Yeah, I just wanted to put a little bit of a saute on this, but you are more than welcome to eat it fresh. Okay. So I've got this down to like 1, because extra virgin olive oil does not have a big smoke point. Okay, so next what I've got is, so I've got a couple choices here. I can go ahead and just serve this. I've got the rice is cooked. The ground turkey's already cooked. I can serve it that way, and all I do is just put a little bit of saute on here. I can do it that way. Or what I could do is I could kind of do more of like a fried rice situation if I wanted to do that as well. And just because, you know, I'm doing like visual stuff, let's go ahead. I'm gonna move this out of the way here because I'm done with this. And we will go ahead and add this rice. So I'm gonna turn this into a bowl, and it's gonna be a little bit of a fried rice situation. Hello, Miss Tammy, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so I have got 2/3 of a cup here. Now, usually I would do 2/3 of a cup of meat, but let's say you are sitting here, you don't have a lot of meat, you got more rice than meat, like the 1980s grandma, where you got like a couple shreds of meat if they were like more than like 2 grandkids in the house. You had all the grandkids and everybody home, you were getting like your 2 little slices of meat, that's all you were getting. But with the prices and everything like that, I just want to be like really conscious of that. So I'm going to do just a half a cup of the meat. Now everything has been seasoned, just FYI. Okay, so I've got that in there. Go ahead. I think you can see it here. So I am going to mix this in here. Now everything has been seasoned except for the rice. Just want to go ahead and I did brown this, just FYI, I did brown this turkey earlier today. So I'm just kind of, it's going to be like a little bit of a brown. Just going to keep this moving. So this is not a very big, I'm not going to do a very big bowl of this because here's the thing. So, you know, it's Aunt Lady's kitchen, so we're cooking from the pantry. And sometimes when we're cooking from the pantry, we might have guests. You know, maybe everybody is trying to save money. Maybe people are just, you know, there's just not a lot in the budget, you know. So I want to be really, I'm always really conscious of that. So we've got this right here. And instead of doing a huge bowl, I know you're like, I just want to do, I'm doing this bowl right here because I'm just going to spin this around a little bit. And this is all, so what I did was earlier, I seasoned the veggies with lemon juice and cilantro, lime seasoning. And then I seasoned the meat with chili powder and lemon juice and cilantro lime with some black pepper. So that's in there. But if I was really trying to be extra, I could put a little bit of cayenne in there as well. But I'm not gonna do that. And obviously what you can do is you can also add cheese, like when you scoop it up to the final product. I'm not gonna do that tonight, but you can do it. You can do it. Okay, because this is gonna be my lunch tomorrow. So yeah, so here we go. We got this right here. Gonna add this in here. I'm making it small because what you can do is you can get some pita bread or some tortillas. You can grill them. I've got a panini press, but if you don't have a panini press, I've got a grill pan. But if you don't have a grill pan, you can always use like a cast iron skillet and, you know, put a little oil in there and, you know, turn it like, you know, slice it up into 4. So if you got a tortilla, have like 4 big chips, or you can cut them up into 8ths or 12ths. Just don't, make sure they don't get too small, because then they start kind of burning and stuff like that. And you got to watch them, but you can use that. And that's going to give you, you know, that's going to fill up some things. But that's why the rice is here. That's why we're using the rice right now. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. So here we have this right here. And as I said, this is kind of like the rice thing. You can, I don't have any, because I'm a shelf cook, I'm a shelf chef person. I don't have any green. I did go to Hy-Vee today, and then I was like dropping something off at the post office, and I was like, oh, I forgot. As I'm driving away, I'm like, oh, I probably should have gotten some green onions. I forgot, and it was way too cold to run back in. But again, to keep myself honest, I'm supposed to just be doing, you know, straight shelf cooking, whatever I happen to have in my pantry on the day. That's generally how I do it. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way. So what I like to do is I like to just take a taste, so and see, because sometimes maybe I didn't add enough seasoning, maybe I seasoned too much, as if that is possible. Okay, I'm just gonna take a little bite of this right here. This is really good. You can really taste the chili powder in here, but in a good way. There's a little bit of a kick. I didn't have any lime juice. I just had lemon juice this time. And so onto my, this because, you know, I'm growing my hair out, and so then I'm not, it's been a while since I've had really long hair, so I'm like, okay. So what I could also do with this is, you know, put some lime juice in there, but I'm going to do that on my next grocery run. I'm going to get some lime juice. Something else you could do is you could get, if you got some leftover like tortilla chips, something like that, or you can make your own with the tortillas, but you got leftover tortilla chips, you can always kind of do like this. I think I did this a long time ago where I kind of did like these like shelf cooking nachos where I had some leftover tortillas. I think I turned them into chips, bigger ones though, and I just kind of like stacked it on top. So it's kind of like nachos on the fly. I think I threw some cheese on there as well. So you see what I'm saying with this? Or if you've got, like I said, some pita bread, something like that, you can cut that into 4 ways. I actually have some pita bread. I'm not going to do that tonight, but let me show you what I'm talking about here. Now, I don't have pita pockets, but that's on my list because you know what? Y'all, I used to be able to find pita pockets. Pita pockets were like my best friend. And then all of a sudden, I can't find them. So, yeah. So, see this pita bread? We can take a pizza roller, right? Or, well, first, you can do it that way, like, and then you can just kind of like put this in a pan and, you know, do it individually like that. Or you can do like, you know, put a little oil on here, put a little basil, season it, throw it in like a pan, cast iron skillet, kind of like take a few minutes on each side. And then, you know, depending on, again, you want the pan to be hot. And then you can kind of cut it up into 4 pieces, serve it with this. You got this going on right here. Or you could turn it into some kind, you probably could do some kind of nacho thing with this, with the pita bread, some kind of like a bread situation there. That's why I love pita bread, because it is so versatile. If I were going to serve a dessert with this, I probably would do like, some kind of lemon or lime, some kind of citrus dessert, or I would just do like a drink dessert, like do like a kind of a citrusy mocktail or something like that. I've kind of been doing on my fitness journey. I've been trying to like maybe drink a little bit more of my calories because man, those cookies are so good. And I've rediscovered butter. Okay. And I know I'm ashamed because I feel like sometimes the butter calls to me. Like I was really perfecting my baked potato situation because I hadn't really been baking potatoes like, you know, for a while. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hey, potatoes are on sale. Let me do these different variations of potatoes. And so I started doing baked potatoes again. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut them in half. Then I'm going to, you know, throw some chives on there, a little bit of bacon, something like that. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of butter. You guys, I forgot how good butter is. It was so good. I ended up eating both sides of the big potato. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had this huge baked potato and I was not intending on doing that. So I'm like, okay, I got to back off from that a little bit. The potatoes were like, they were kind of like, you know, calling to me like, Aunt Lainey, Aunt Lainey. So yeah, I kind of had to like back off of that. But yes, this bowl is very good. Lots of different ways that you can serve it, and you don't have to serve a lot of it. Here, it's you know, you don't have to serve a lot of it. And in the future, I will probably have some green peppers and some what do you call it? Green onion, something like that in there. But you can also serve it fresh. If you wanted to kind of have that crisp, if it were summertime, I probably wouldn't have sauteed the veggies a little bit. I know our weather's so weird. It's like it's going to be summer weather by the end of the week, I think. But since there is still a little chill in the air right now, that's why I went ahead and sauteed it. But like in the summertime, I like to like crunch into fresh vegetables, like raw vegetables. I like that. Like that's my preferred kind of vegetable state versus like just sauteing them, because you know it's hot outside. Even if you're in your air-conditioned place, if you're lucky enough to have air conditioning and all that other stuff, you know, it's still hot outside. So even though I'm in air conditioning, I still kind of want to feel like I'm of the elements. And on that note, I am going to leave you. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find me at AuntLainey'sKitchen.com. My podcast is Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. Just FYI for my regular listeners, I'm going to be a little late. I had recorded it and then I forgot to mention one of the segments. And I was like, wow, this is like the shortest podcast ever. It's because I left out a crucial segment. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to record that again. And that's one of the things I'll be doing tonight is re-recording that. You can also find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I'm here Tuesday nights between like 6:30, 6:45 cooking live, although next month, the second week of April, I will not be here on Tuesday. I'll probably have to move it to like Wednesday, but that's not for a couple of more weeks. But yeah, because I got some exciting things to do on that Tuesday because it's going to be my birthday. So I already have some birthday plans going on. Okay. So on that note, talk to you guys later. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you next week.